Yeah, morning all. So myself, I'm Vijay. Like I hold 20 plus years of experience, which includes nearly 10 plus years of experience in this environments like Hadoop, Spark, and this cloud technologies. Like so, before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Right?
Yes, Vijay. I'm able to see your screen.
And thank you. So yes, so for your general queries, I'll be giving time for you at the end of the session. Fine. So as part of today's session, right? Okay. So talking about this cloud. It is majorly utilized, right? It is cloud is majorly utilized for storing the data, analyzing, and delivering data in various forms, right? Yes. So if I talk what advantage I'm going to get, what advantage I'm going to get over the cloud as compared with the on-premises like the databases, right? Advantages of cloud, on-premises databases. First thing is, yes, if we talk about this on-premises, if I talk about this on-premises, right? We need to set up, okay, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure, right? Hardware infrastructure. Secondly, on top of that, yes, on top of that, right? OS installation and purchasing database license. Okay. Installation of later after purchasing that installation of database server. Next, designing database objects. So we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. Next, OS installation. Next, purchasing database license and installation of a database server, right? And designing database objects. So to maintain all this, right? Yes. We require separate teams. We require separate teams. First one, like the hardware team is required. And secondly, like the operating system team. Networking team. Security team. Database administrators. But if you talk about, here in, here in cloud, everything in cloud, but here everything in cloud, right? We no need to maintain all this. We no need to maintain all this. First thing is, no need to maintain any infrastructure. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need of any licenses. Here everything will be in the cloud premises. Here everything will be in the cloud premises, right? Yes. So here talking about this data engineers with the help with the help of cloud services. With the help of cloud services, work on the data and make it structured. Make it structured and useful. Make it structured and useful. Data engineers, with the help of cloud services, work on the data and make it structured and useful. What is the main thing they do? Data engineers are responsible. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow. For smooth data flow from source to target. They're responsible for smooth data flow from source to the target. Data engineer, they mainly deal data engineer, right? Responsible for preparing the data, cleansing data, transforming data to the required form, processing the data. See, most of them will ask the difference between data engineer, data scientist, data analyst, data scientist. Okay. We take a data scientist and data analyst. Mainly data scientist strategizes for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past. Data scientist, right, is going to analyze the data. Identify the patterns, key patterns. Recommendations for the future. Data analyst on the other side. Okay, I said summarizes the past. Means he's going to analyze the data. Summarizes the data of the past. Summarizes the data of the past and also like visualizing the data. So here summarizes the past, data of the past and visualizing the data is just to go. And on the other side, data scientist is going to give us strategies for the future, recommendations for the future, right? So just if you observe this data engineer does all the groundwork, for the data scientist and analyst. We talk like nearly 80% data analysis. Data engineers. So generally the data engineering involves data engineering. It is involves, right? First thing. What are the sources of the data? Secondly, what is the format? What is the format of the data? Thirdly, how to transform data? What are the sources of data? What is the format of the data? How to transform data? What is the destination? So the sources of data, format of the data, how to transform the data, and what is the destination of the data, right? So why Azure Data Engineer? Why Azure Data Engineer in demand today, right? Why Azure Data Engineer is in demand today? For example, just check this. An organization, you've got an organization, right? It wants to increase the business revenue by utilizing the customer behavioral data on its website. So this organization uses Azure for its operation. So it is going to hire two persons. It is going to hire two persons. Azure data engineer. Secondly, data scientist. So what is the work of Azure data engineer? So first, Azure data engineer is going to create a data warehouse. Is going to create a data warehouse for the organization. So what is data warehouse? It is the storage of structured and queryable data, right? It's the storage of structured data, and also it can queryable. We can be able to query the data. It contains the data from various sources such as user logs, clicks, existing customer data, right? So this data engineer structures this data, stores it, and monitors in the data warehouse. Secondly, this data engineer, this Azure data engineer is going to communicate with the data scientist. He communicates with the data scientist to understand the data requirement. He also communicates with the business team to know the business requirements of this organization, keep in mind the business needs while dealing with the data in hand, right? So later the data scientist, he is going to create the insights from the processed data of this data engineer, and the business team requires a dashboard tool for the visualization of the key insights, right? So it helps the team read the data easily. So what that data engineer constantly processes, analyzes, and monitors the data. Is constantly processes, analyzes, and monitors the data. He creates the main key task is he creates data pipelines. This data engineer going to create data pipelines through which data is integrated with all the crucial stages of the data flow. He also makes that pipeline is also efficient and secure. He also ensures that the pipeline is always efficient and secure. This is the primary role. This is the primary role of Azure data engineer, right? Yes. Talking not only this, the main roles of Azure data engineer. Observe this. Roles of Azure data engineer. Azure data engineer, right? Yes. First thing, designing data flow architecture. Designing the entire data flow architecture. Secondly, creating data warehouse. Creating the data engineers responsible for creating this data warehouse. For storage of analytical data. Thirdly, the main task of this data engine is ETL, right? The main task of this ETL, extract, transform, and load. Is the key task. Data engineers. They need to extract data from multiple sources, transform it into structured data and queryable data, and then load this data into company storage services for further business evaluations by the data scientist, right? And next is like data monitoring. Data monitoring. Data monitoring, right? Yes. Data engineers make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and the data is available everywhere and anywhere, right? It is required. And also like data security. Data security, right? So ensuring the data security. The major responsibility of data engineers that the data needs to be secured at each step without any data leaks or exposures, right? And also collaboration and communication. So they need to constantly communicate with the business team to check if the team needs the data in what format, and collaborating with the data scientist is also that to deliver the data as per the requirements, right? Right. Analytics. So data engineers analyze the data. They are going to analyze the data and transform it in a structured format. And they need to have some strong analytical knowledge, mathematical skills to perform this analysis. And finally, like automation. So they have to be certain process need to be automated. We require some minimal human intervention such as extraction, right? So mainly designing the entire data flow architecture, creating data warehouse for storage of analytical data, ETL, data monitoring, data extract, data security, and collaborating communication with the business teams and data scientists, analytic skills, and also like automation. Certain process has to be automated, right? So these are the key roles of this Azure data engineer, right? Yes. So Azure data engineering products or services, right? Azure data engineering products. What are the various Azure data engineering products or services? What? Yes. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault. So Azure Data Engineering products or services as a ADF developer, or as a ADF developer or a Databricks developer, right? You will be communicating with all these products or services, right? Yes. So just I'll give overview as of now. What are the services? First, like Azure SQL. Azure SQL, right? Yes. It is a cloud or DBMS. It is a cloud or DBMS, right? Database of Microsoft in Azure. It is a cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. So I can say it is for OLTP operations, online transactional processing. It is for OLTP operations, right? OLTP systems capture, it's going to capture the end user transactions. So it is for Azure SQL. It is not for data warehouse. It is not for data warehouse. Secondly, Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Lake. So I can say it is some distributed uh, distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is data lake. We talked, if you got knowledge on this Hadoop or this HDFS, right? HDFS. It is an on-premise distributed file system. Azure Data Lake. So this is on-premise distributed file system. This Azure Data Lake is a cloud DFS. Simply, I can say it is a cloud distributed file system. I can say it is a repository for large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Semi-structured data, right? Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Factory. We talk about this Azure Data Factory. In a simple way, it is a cloud-based ETL. It is a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure Cloud. It integrates the OLTP systems and the data warehouse systems. That's why we call ADF as ADF is a data integration. It is called as a data integration service. It is going to integrate the OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. We say that raw data coming from one side, processed data coming from the other side, that been transferred as per the destination, right? ADF is going to permit you combine data from multiple sources, reformatting it and into analytical models, save these models for querying, visualizing, and for reporting, right? ADF creates data flows. For data movement and the transformation. So generally you will be getting data is going to perform, see this ADF is going to extract data from different sources, right? Like whatever might be the source like sensors or IoT or logs or custom applications or business applications, right? That ADF and stores in the Azure data lake. And later by using this Azure Databricks, we'll be processing it and just we are going to perform visualization reporting, right? Later I discuss in brief about the things, but Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks, ADB you say, right? I can say Azure Databricks, it is a Apache Spark based, right? Data analytics platform. Apache Spark based data analytics platform of Microsoft Azure Cloud Service, right? Yes. It brings together data engineering, data science, and business together. Generally, this the Databricks is going to provide some kind of cluster for executing this Spark, right? Azure Synapse. I can say it is a Azure Synapse. It's a cloud RDBMS for data warehouse, for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing, right, which involves millions and trillions of records, and for parallel processing. Cloud Orbit, previously we have got Azure SQL. That is also for Cloud RDBMS, but not for data warehouse. But Azure Synapse, Cloud RDBMS for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing, and for parallel processing. Azure Streaming Analytics, Azure Streaming Analytics. It is analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data, high volumes of streaming data. Data, what do you mean by streaming data? Data which keeps on incrementing, data which keeps on generating, that too from multiple sources. Analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data from multiple sources, and that too simultaneously. Azure Cosmos DB. In a simple way, Azure cloud-based, I can say it is Azure cloud-based NoSQL database. NoSQL database. Azure cloud-based NoSQL database. Modern application development. Okay. So just like MongoDB, the other things, right? We have got many kind of NoSQL databases. Cassandra, MongoDB, HBase, CouchDB, React, Peanut, Neo4j. So similar to that, right? Yes, on the cloud-based, right? It's a NoSQL database, that is Cosmos DB. Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault. Secure key management, right? It is a secure key management to protect data in the cloud. So for encrypting the keys and small secrets like passwords that uses keys stored, right? Secure key management to protect data in the cloud. Okay. So these are the different products or services, right? So Azure SQL, Cloud RDBMS, it is only for OLTP operations, not for data warehouse. Azure Data Lake, distributed file system with unlimited data storage. So it is a cloud distributed file system, a repository where it can store all varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. Azure Data Factory, it's a cloud-based ETL, performing, extracting, transforming, loading, right? Where so it acts as data integration service, right? It creates data flows for data movements and transformations. Azure Databricks, Apache Spark-based data analytics platform. Azure Synapse, Cloud RDBMS for data warehouse purpose and also for analytics. Azure Streaming Analytics, so that's for analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data, that too from multiple sources, that too simultaneously. Azure Cosmos DB, NoSQL based, NoSQL database, that is cloud based. And for protecting the data, right, in the cloud, Azure Key Vault. Okay. Blob, BLOB. Okay, later I discuss about it, right? Entering into this. So these are the Azure data engineering products or services. So yes. Now, if I talk about the job market of this, I'll come back to this. Okay. Before that, try to see the course content, what I'm going to discuss, right? Azure, first starting with ADF, Azure Data Factory. Okay, what is blob storage? What is Azure Key Vault, Azure Synapse, Cosmos DB, and streaming, and Data Factory. And within this Data Factory, right? What are pipelines? What are activities, link services, data sets, triggers, data flows. What is pipeline? Creating pipeline, organizing pipeline into folders, right? Debugging pipeline, publishing parameters, pipeline parameters, right? Linker service, creating linker service for blob, for SQL database, for SQL server, right? And data lake storage in Gen 1, Gen 2. Actually, Gen 1 is not supported now, only Generation 2 is supported. Data set, creating a data set, right? It's for Avro file, binary file, CSV, Excel, JSON, ORC, Parquet, XML, and a table in SQL database, Oracle database, etc. Activities, weight, variables, creating a variable, set variable, copy data activity, right? Copying files from blob container, copying data from blob to database. Okay, Azure functions, lookup, stored procedure, get metadata, delete, execute pipeline, validation, filter for each if condition, switch until, triggers, what is trigger, two types, scheduling, and integration runtime, auto integration runtime, self-hosted, and source control, ARM templates, right? Export, import. Yes. And data flows, what is data flow? Mapping data flow debugging, right? Transformations, validating schema, flattening, group by pivot, unpivot, flatten, filter, sort, alter row, offset, flow set, and different types of practical exercises I'll be discussing, right? Creating linker services, data sets, copy activity, and copy activity from multiple files to blob, delete using parameterized data sets, right? How to use get metadata activity, bulk copy data and files, how to integrate with keyword with ADF, copy data from on-premise to Azure cloud, copying data from on-premises databases to Azure cloud databases, how to use scheduling trigger, trembling Windows trigger, right? Until activity with activity, select the rows, filtering the rows, join transformations, union, lookup, pivot, and pivot, removing duplicates, SCD type kind of transformation, SCD type 1, type 2, right? Set to global parameters, ADF with DevOps, right? All these things, right? Nearly 50 exercises, practical exercises I'm going to discuss for this. Coming to this Databricks, right? So ADF, I'll be spending nearly like for 40 days, 40 to 45 days, right? Yes, 40. And coming to this Azure Databricks, right? Introduction to this big data, introduction to this Hadoop. Before I go with Databricks, I'll be giving some knowledge on this big data, Hadoop and Spark in cloud computing and Azure, right? Introduction to this Azure Databricks, creation of Azure Databricks service, Databricks cluster management, managing clusters, types of clusters, Databricks pools, cluster mode, auto scaling, multi-cluster, right? Databricks utilities, credential utility, data utility, right? Jobs utility, notebook utility, secret utility, limitations of utilities, and Databricks integration with the blob storage, Azure SQL database, Synapse, Databricks handling multiple file formats, CSV data, JSON, Parquet, Excel, XML, ORC, and Avro files, batch processing of historical data load, incremental data load, aggregations, join operations, window functions, Databricks streaming API, Databricks Lakehouse, Delta Lake, data workflows in Databricks, right? Yes, that everything with PySpark, Databricks with PySpark, that is Spark with Python implementation, right? And Azure Synapse Analytics, Synapse Analytics to query data lake, Azure Synapse triggers, database integration with Azure Synapse, incremental load, logging and notifications, deep dive into copy activity in Azure Synapse, data flows introductions, and a Spark pull introduction in Azure Synapse. So in brief, in depth, we'll be discussing about all these three things, right? Azure ADF, Azure Databricks, and Synapse. Coming to this, right, is job market. Job market of Azure Data Engineer. Okay. So if you talk about according to Microsoft, every year some lakhs of companies are registering themselves on Azure. So 95% of this Fortune 500 companies are utilizing this Azure cloud services. They are in turn increasing the number of job opportunities, right, for Azure data engineer constantly. So they are regularly required the needs of professionals who can work on Azure and handle this big data. So according to the pay scales also, data engineers have got the highest average salary as closely as data scientists. As per the survey from this, even from the global knowledge, the top two highest paying jobs, right? Data engineering and data scientist. So even companies like Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, all these are interested at data engineers with the great salary packages. You can check the salary packages for these data engineers, especially. This will be 1.5 times more than the other technologies, right? So tech giants, even including Google, Apple, Cognizant, Walmart, all these, they are offering high paying jobs for data engineers, right? Yes. So what are the things what are the offerings, right? So you'll be getting each and every, so if you miss any session due to some office work, other things, right? So you'll be getting that recorded session videos, right? Video sessions, each session video, right? Each and every session videos you'll be getting videos of each session, right? Even if you miss any session, you can go to that and you can attend the next session for the better understanding. clear soft copy of the class notes. Assignments and tasks to work with. Based on that, you'll be getting that command on that. Assignments or tasks to work with. A WhatsApp group will be created, right, for technical discussions. Even if you have got any error, you can take the snap of it and post in the WhatsApp group. And previously asked questions. Previously asked interview questions, right? Okay, so these things you'll be getting the videos, classroom notes, and soft copy of it, assignments and tasks, a WhatsApp group, and previously asked interview questions. Yes. So if you've got any queries, you can go with these queries, right? Yes. So tomorrow also people can attend the session tomorrow, same time using the same link. More discussion on this, right? And there is no prerequisites for this is basic SQL knowledge is required. And for Azure Databricks, some basic Python knowledge is required. Just I'll be briefing you about the syntaxes of Python before I go with it. But basics of this SQL and basics of Python is required, right? So it looks very simple and easier. It won't see very complex updating these codes, right? So, and if you talk about this ADF, it is a zero coding ETL tool, right? If I talk about Azure Data Factory, zero coding is involved in that zero coding ETL tool. But in Databricks, you'll be using Spark, Apache Spark. I'll be discussing ADB with PySpark, right? Yes. Yeah, some query was asked. Yes, so PySpark, right? PySpark, ADB with PySpark. Yes, the data frames, everything I'll be discussing, right? It's with different functionalities of those. Can you see in the chart, a big message is given by this DURGASOFT online team. So you can see the course content details there. Yes. The contact details of the online team and the payment details and yes. Yeah. Any other queries you have got, right? So as I already said, as a ADF developer, as a Databricks developer, you'll be interacting with this Azure SQL, what is this Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse. So as part of this course, I'll be covering these things, right? How to work with this Azure SQL, Data Lake, Synapse, all these things. So total duration of this course will be 3 months. It will be regular from Monday to Friday. The sessions will be from Monday to Friday, daily 1 hour, right? And if anyone unable to spare 3 months of time, even after whenever I say, whenever you are updating, first I'll be starting with ADF, Azure Data Factory. Later, immediately, if I'm starting any Databricks, Azure Databricks, right? Immediately you can go parallelly, you can attend it, right? If you feel that, if it is, so that you can complete in 1.5 months. That means if you go parallelly whenever Databricks is started, right? You'll be understanding everything. So I'll be showing you everything as my pulsing, right? On Windows, I'll be showing you, right? So how to get the subscription for this and how to get the free subscription later, how to work on this, right? It will give some services are given lifetime free. Some services like for 1 year it is giving free, and some services for 1 month it is giving free, right? So you can get the free subscription, everyone, right? Later after that, how to extend it, right? I'll be discussing. Yes, Chandrasekhar, right? So anytime if you feel that because of some job timings, right? If you want a break and if you want to attend in any other batch also, you can take a break because of your shift change, other things, right? Even I got some evening batches available, right? Even if you want to shift to evening or this, that is fine. You can attend once any break, and if you want to attend any of my other batch, right, in the evenings, other things, that is fine. That provision is there. Any other queries, right? Tomorrow I'll be just briefing you much on this Azure data engineering products, the other things. At the last, yes, Varsha Chavan, right? At the last, I'll be showing you one project, right? Project flow. So clearly, I am 100% you will be understanding everything, whatever I discussed. So only thing is, whatever I discussed, try to explore it that day itself, to the practicals that day itself for the better understanding. All the sessions will be interactive sessions. During the sessions, everyone will be kept in unmuted status. You can unmute and you can ask through voice. Directly, you can ask through voice any queries. You can ask any queries you have got, or you can type in the chat panel, right? Yes, Gauss sake, right? Gauss sake. If there any possible feasibility to learn only ADB, right? So this coming Saturday, there is a weekend batch I'm going to start for ADB, Azure Databricks, Gauss, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
There is a weekend batch I'm going to start, right? On Saturdays, 2 hours, Sunday, 2 hours. Will be a Databricks in the evening, 4 o'clock, right? Check with this
Okay.
online team, check with the online team, a Databricks, Azure Databricks, a batch I'm going to start. Even you people,
Thank you.
if any one of you wants to attend parallelly, right? Azure Data Factory from Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Azure Databricks. Otherwise, if you want to, after completing Data Factory, if you want to attend Databricks, multiple batches I'll be starting, right? You can attend any of my. Once you got enrolled for Azure Data Engineering, right? You can attend any of my that Databricks and Synapse.
Thank you, sir.
A weekend course, how many duration? Means daily 2 hours or
Saturday 2 hours, Sunday 2 hours it will be.
okay.
Evening at 4 o'clock it will be. Okay. Fine. So if I'm done with your queries, if there are no other queries, I will sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow with same time at 10 p.m. using the same link to see more on this, right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.